Russia's insurance market has demonstrated positive momentum according to a new report by AM Best. I'm Yvette Essen for AM Best TV, joined by Valeria Ermakova, Senior Financial Analyst for AM Best, to talk through that report. So we do say that the market has had a challenging period but is reaching a turning point. Can you highlight some numbers, some facts that help support that statement?
Yes, so Russian insurance market has been subject to some challenges in recent years, and the development of the market has been tempered by geopolitical instability, economic stagnation, and also some issues in the compulsory motor third-party liability segment. However, as you mentioned, we did say in the report that the market appears to have reached a turning point in 2018. And here we talk about two things mainly. So firstly, we see a more diversified premium growth across the market. And then secondly, we see insurance companies reporting higher levels of profitability. So in terms of premium growth, in 2018, gross written premiums in the market rose by 16%. And notably, this uptick in premiums was supported not just by investment life products, as was the case the year before, but by high income from non-life products as well. Then in terms of profitability, Russian insurance companies benefited from high investment returns and also improved combined ratios. And so the overall market reported an attractive return on equity of 31% in 2018.
So certainly recovery there, although we do describe that recovery as fragile. Looking into the medium term, what are the factors that are likely to impact market development and the performance of companies?
Yes, so whilst we note those positive changes, we do think that there are questions over longer-term sustainability of that positive trend. And in the report, one of the areas we discuss is that compulsory motor third-party liability segment, which I've mentioned, and that's probably been one of the most challenging areas in the market. The segment has been affected by things like claims inflation, inadequate tariffs, fraudulent claims, and also poor customer service offered by certain market participants. In 2019, the regulator, the Central Bank of Russia, has introduced some long-awaited and fundamental changes to that market segment, which included partial market liberalization. So the tariffs that companies can use were widened by the central bank. And we think that these changes can lead to more risk-based pricing in the future and potentially improved technical results for that segment. However, there are also some risks. And in particular, we think that greater flexibility in setting the premiums, combined with the heightened competition in that segment that we currently observe, can ultimately lead to underpricing. So we expect companies to exercise prudence when setting insurance premiums. And we think those companies with better data analytics, maybe those that utilize telematics, will be better placed to take advantage of these changes in the market.
You mentioned regulation there, and regulation does feature quite heavily as a trend within the Russian reports. Can you tell me finally about risk-oriented supervision and what we expect the impact is likely to be?
Yes, so in the report we talk about the planned introduction of risk-oriented supervision by the Central Bank of Russia, and we look at it more in the context of enterprise risk management practices in the market. So currently we see that depending on company size and management philosophy, Russian insurance companies have very different strategies in respect of risk management and capital management. But we think that those regulatory changes are likely to lead to some level of market standardization. Now, in terms of operating performance, the implementation of risk-oriented supervision will require some investments. So it could be investments to hire new staff or to outsource consultants or maybe to purchase new IT systems to facilitate economic modeling. And so we think that operating result of smaller companies could be negatively affected by those investments, whilst larger market participants are likely to withstand the challenges due to their economies of scale and overall higher level of preparedness. But ultimately, regardless of company size, we expect Russian players to continue their dialogue with the regulator to ensure a smooth transition.
A copy of AM Best report looking at the Russian insurance market can be found on ambest.com. For AM Best TV, I'm Yvette Essen.